Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Odyssey podcast, where every week me and my brother truck through cinema on a quest to find the greatest film ever made. And this week, we're talking about Tootsie.
The greatest film ever made. Not this movie, but I'm thinking, Leo, what could we call Tootsie as the... What quantity, what qualifiers can we give it to call it the greatest movie ever made? It has to be the greatest rom-com gender bend film ever made.
Starring probably one of the greatest gender bending performances.
Whoa. No, I'm saying, if I gave it those qualifiers, does it hold up to that? The greatest rom-com gender bend movie of all time?
I mean, that's very specific.
So, can we take one of those out of there and still have it meet that qualification?
Greatest rom-com? Okay, because you are averse to rom-coms out of gate.
I hate rom-coms. This movie was pretty good. I was into it. But also, I didn't get that rom-com vibe from it, you know? Even though it is basically a rom-com, I didn't get that vibe, you know? I thought it was more dramatic than that.
It definitely felt a lot more like a actor struggle drama that just happened to have comedic elements to it.
Yeah, and also, I kind of joked about it between the two of us before we started recording, about it being a psychological thriller, but it is kind of it's suspenseful. Somebody's got to figure it out, right? Somebody's got to figure out that Dustin Hoffman is Dustin fucking Hoffman and not Tootsie.
Yeah.
Not
Dorothy. Hey everybody. So, for those who don't know what the fuck Tootsie is, because I had no idea what the fuck this movie was about, here's what this movie's about. Dustin Hoffman plays Michael Dorsey, and he is this fantastic actor, but has basically been blacklisted from Broadway and Hollywood and can't get work doing anything because he has Marlon Brando. He's just great at his job, but he's shitty to everyone he works with.
Yeah, gets great reviews from all the critics, but kind of just shits up the production for everybody else.
And then he sees an opportunity to get work and get off unemployment by...
Wait, he's employed?
Employed as an unemployed actor?
No, he's a fucking waiter. They mention it 30 times in the movie.
Oh, yeah!
He's a fucking waiter. I mean, in New York, being a waiter, you might as well be fucking employed.
Yeah, basically. Him and Bill Murray just, waiting tables. But he sees an opportunity by dressing up as Dorothy Michaels and getting a job on a daytime soap where... On that, he falls in love with his co-star, and comedy ensues. But yeah, so that's basically the movie.
He also accidentally hooks up with his friend.
And that becomes a whole subplot.
Its whole thing.
Also, poor Sandy. I know she's
Sandy.
dumber than a bag of bricks, but I love her.
She's a sweet girl.
She's a sweet gal. Great actress.
I just like that she's dumber than a bag of bricks, but she's a sweet lady. You can't be doing that to her, Michael.
Right. It's one of those things where Is Michael a bad guy?
Yeah. I'd say he's a bad guy, but
he's kind of a scumbag.
He's got a redemption arc, though. He realizes the errors of his ways a little too late.
Just a little too late for your taste.
Well, yeah. Sandy basically fucking hates him now.
Well, it's Sandy. She's the goldfish. She's gonna forget in about 20 minutes.
Oh, come on. She's not the sharpest tool in the shed, but she ain't that dumb.
Bruh. How many times did he blow her off with the shittiest excuses that even you would be like, I'm a little sus on that.
Well, I'm sus on just about anything.
Exactly. Brandy, why is Sandy not sus about these things after have wool pulled over her eyes so often she has a sweater?
Maybe she, it's implied from the beginning of the movie that she already likes him.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
So she's holding out hope, but maybe he's not as bad as he seems.
He is kind of as bad as he seems.
But he grows throughout the movie. Not for Sandy, though. Sandy kind of gets left behind. R.I.P. Sandy.
Oh, yeah. But he does grow for Jessica Lange playing not Dorothy.
Not Dorothy.
Julie. I'm sorry. Julie Nichols. And she's really good in this movie.
She is.
She won Best Supporting Actor at the
only
Oscars.
Oscar for this movie.
Yeah, nominated for 10 Oscars, including Best Picture. What the fuck?
That's a lot of nods to not get a lot of awards.
We're gonna get into that when we get a little bit deeper in, but like fucking 10 Oscars? Are you fucking serious?
Wait, who won Best Actor over Dustin Hoffman? I know we're kind of getting on a tangent here, but I need to fucking know.
Best Actor? That would have been Ben Kingsley as Mahatma Gandhi in Gandhi.
I see, yeah.
I mean, if it helps, this is also the year of Sophie's Choice.
Holy shit, really?
Yeah,
God
dude.
damn.
This stiff year?
That's a stiff year. You know, I've never seen Gandhi.
Maybe we'll give it a watch. I hear nothing but good things about it, but I've also haven't heard anybody say, "Oh, I've watched it in the last 20 years."
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
True.
It might be fantastic, but
Yo, E.T. came out this year too? Yo, this year's stacked.
Oh yeah, fun fact, Tootsie was the second highest grossing movie of 1982. Number 1, E.T. Damn fucking right it was.
Really? This movie made that much money?
Made a shit ton. It was commercially and critically beloved. Everyone went out to see this movie. Everyone forked up their cash. This thing had rave reviews. Roger Ebert gave it 4 out of 4 stars, said they don't make them like they used to.
Really?
Yeah,
Roger Ebert.
Roger Ebert's like, this is a movie with a capital M, man. You get drama, you get comedy, you get great performances. There's some chew in this. He praised the fuck out of this film.
You know, I can kind of see it because realizing it's the second highest grossing movie of that year, I realized something about the movie. You can kind of watch this in any setting.
Yeah, you kind of can. I mean,
you could watch it like you and the boys, you know, and you have yourself a laugh about, he's dressed as a woman, you know, it's kind of funny, guys, am I right? Like,
yeah.
And then you can watch it with your girlfriend being like, oh, look at this nice love story, you know? You can watch it by yourself and be like, how do I act like this? You know, how do I put on a performance like this? You know, as, you know, through the lens of like an actor, right?
Yeah, and even as an audience member, just
watching the movie.
Watching the movie. You can even choose themes out of it. It's like, is this really how guys treat women? And this gender flip is like, you know, femininity, just like the act putting on. And it's a very weird film.
Yeah, they kind of hint towards that in the beginning when Dustin Hoffman first shows up as Dorothy on set. And they have that whole discussion about like when women get angry, they get masculine.
Mm-hmm.
The movie kind of whole commentary on masculinity and femininity and kind of blurring the lines between the two.
Yeah, and it also gets a little bit into, yo, Michael, are you getting your rocks off doing this? Are you
I love the scene where he's talking to his agent and he's trying to explain like how everything's like been happening so far, and he's like, this person thinks I'm gay and this person thinks that I'm a lesbian. Wait, you're gay? No, I'm not gay.
But they think
I'm gay.
Wait, I thought you said she thought you were a lesbian.
No. She thinks I'm a lesbian. But are you lesbian? No, I'm straight. or Dorothy's straight. And what does that make?
that is straight out of a Marx Brothers movie.
Yeah, true.
That is it. That's a lot of the comedy in this. It's just these people kind of just throwing game at each other. Just like fast one-liners, like. And sometimes it's just like, oh, it just cuts, and then there's just, oh, it's a gag.
Yeah.
You know, also Bill Murray just delivering every line as sarcastically as possible is beautiful.
He was pretty good in this movie for basically being a background character.
Yeah, I mean, he's in maybe 10 minutes of total screen time, and every time he opens his mouth up is, you slut, Dorothy, and you fucking die.
It's so good.
It is. It really, really is. Also, the cast in this is kind of stacked. Like,
really?
We got Bill Murray, we got Dustin Hoffman, we got Jessica Lange? Jessica Lange. There you go.
A little Freudian slip there.
Whatever. Then we also have Sidney Pollack, who plays the agent and is also the director. I mean, this is a pretty solid cast of characters.
Pretty decent, yeah.
Watching the movie, I'm just like, man, this is just solid across the board.
Yeah, it's just good. You know, it's good, solid, does everything right. You know, it's got a little bit of themes. You know, this movie's got everything to make a nice pie. You know, it's chef's kiss. I'm pretty high on this movie now.
All right. Now back to the thing before. Greatest movie of all time. What is this the greatest at? Is it just good
Maybe
at
the
everything?
greatest rom-com.
Maybe the greatest rom-com?
Maybe the greatest rom-com. I'm kind of seeing it because it doesn't give me the knee-jerk, you know, acid reflux reaction I normally have with rom-coms.
Did we finally find one rom-com you enjoy? Have we finally found the one rom-com to rule them all?
I think we might have found the one rom-com to rule them all.
The only rom-com you've ever watched you didn't cringe immediately in the opening 20 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I did cringe once in this movie, and I don't remember what scene was it that I cringed at. Is there anything you cringed at this movie?
Honestly,
I can't remember. I know I cringed at one of the scenes in this movie because they were about to do something. And I was like, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
I know, honestly, like, my thing where it's like, it just has to be really cringy for me to, like, have a reaction to it.
You're able to watch The Office?
I can watch, like, the first 2 seasons. After that, it gets a little rough. But, like, my level of cringe factor is much higher than yours. Like, you were like, bruh, you said that word wrong. Cringe!
You cringe.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know. It might have been like the kiss gag near the beginning of the movie, where it's the old guy who's like, he kisses every actress or guest actress on the show. And he's like, well, I mean, I don't know if I want to kiss him, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then he just lays one on her once the camera stops rolling.
Uh-huh.
And I just like it when they cut after, you know, Dorothy does her big monologue just to get out doing the kiss. And like, that was fantastic, marvelous. And then, you know, the guys in the background, old actor dude's like, what happened? I was supposed to kiss this bra. What the happened? Are we gonna redo the take? There's shit like that, and I'm like, this is great. I think this movie is also kind of a send up to that old style daytime soap opera melodrama stuff.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is pretty much where every actor of probably that era really like got their chops. You know, you get a recurring role on TV, or you get a guest spot, and that's usually how you bulk up your career.
You do a season of a soap after you do theater, and then you try and make it in the big times, you know, in the movies on the silver screen.
No offense to anybody who makes their career in soap opera. Some of them are fucking fire, but like,
hey, I mean, you know,
paying gig. On
a soap, you know, that is constant work. All right, you don't got to worry about going hungry. You're on a soap.
Yeah. Also, the soap they're on, this is a tangent. Does the soap they're on look even mildly interesting?
No, it's a soap.
I mean, yeah, I understand it's a soap. Like, we ain't gonna give a shit. I'm just trying to
Speaking
compose...
of masculine traits, not liking soap operas.
Jesus. Look, telenovelas are kino. But I don't have to speak the language to look at the ladies, so...
Oh, jeez.
Masculinity. This is a dude podcast about dudes watching a dude dressed not as a dude, dressed as a chick. This is weird. But, I don't know, watching that soap opera that he's trying to perform in, the only thing going through my head is, man, you were getting fired as soon as you went off book.
He was good.
He was really good.
He's really good.
Dustin Hoffman's good at his job.
He's fucking good at his job. He might be terrible to work with, but he's good. Actually, I have no idea how Dustin Hoffman was to work with in real life.
From what I hear, he's kind of rude to some people, but he was never as rude as I guess portrayed in this movie.
Seems decent.
I don't know. I will say he was great in this movie.
He was really good in this movie. Really, really fucking good in this movie.
Okay, so let's just talk about Dustin Hoffman. What's the best scene he has in this movie?
Best scene he has in this movie? Are we gonna go a little cliche, you know, where the reveal, where he's kind of like losing it a little bit,
and he's just stumbling over his words, and it feels like he's literally coming up with this on the fucking spot.
Mm-hmm.
And he's trying to weave it together into a story that will make sense for the reveal. It's pretty good.
It's pretty. It's the climax of the movie.
Yeah, I mean there's maybe one other part, and I think it's like that big farm montage. Maybe that whole the whole sequence when they're on the farm.
I mean, as a whole sequence, yeah, probably the farm.
Yeah, that might be cheating. Like maybe single scene is actually when Jessica Lange and Dustin Hoffman are in the bedroom together that night. And he doesn't even say anything, really. They're just talking about, like, her mom and how she died. And it's just zooming in on Dustin Hoffman's face. And he's not saying anything. He's not even doing anything. But you get so much understanding of this is when he really fell in love.
Mm-hmm.
And you see all the conflict of him being like, what the fuck do I do? And he just kind of, like, strokes her hair. And it's like...
He's like, what am I gonna do?
Like, that is, like... That for me is such great acting,
Because it's so minute, it's so small, it's so accurate.
Yeah.
And I'm over here being like, I like the scene where everything blew up.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The blow-up scene is fantastic.
It's good.
Do you like it when he takes the wig off and he just puts on an even worse Southern accent than
yes,
he had?
it's so good. I loved it.
He's like, I'm Edward Lang. Blah, 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 blah. It's fucking dumb. This movie's funny.
It's really funny.
And there's a lot of funny bits in this movie. I don't know. Where do you want to go with this? Because this movie has got some chew. It's got some solid stuff. But where do you want to lead this boat? Where do you want to direct this mule?
The peripherals of the movie. You know, let's talk about like the things we can talk about without actually talking about the movie, like the cinematography, the sound. You know, things like that.
This is a very vibrant New York. I really do think the sound and the design of the movie really makes this feel like a New York picture. And that's a lot of that's coming into the sound design, because you can tell a lot of it is
it's
built.
Busy, it's noisy.
It's busy, it's noisy. It feels like when you're at the studio and when they're outside, oh, this is a nicer side of town, you know. Oh, it's just cabs going by. Things are a little bit calmer. But when you're over by Michael's apartment, it's a dirtier neighborhood. You hear like cars going, you hear sirens in the background, maybe a helicopter or two. It's, you know, and the classic glass breaking far off into the distance.
Yes.
Of course.
The classic.
I really think like the sound design of the movie is very good. Other than that, I think
it's subtle too.
It is subtle. It's something that you catch if you're like paying attention to it. And the other thing is, I guess, the cinematography that you pointed out. Workmanlike. Nothing blew my mind. I feel a lot of the cinematography in the movie was very solid. Didn't blow my socks off. Is there anything that blew your socks off?
A little stiff, but, you know, it does its job type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... Let me check something real quick. Because Sidney Pollack, who directed this film, he had been a director for at least a few movies before this. But... for me, looking at his filmography, a lot of it feels very workmanlike.
Jeremiah Johnson, he did that movie.
Oh yeah, and Jeremiah Johnson is a fantastic movie. That's a Western epic.
As a quick tangent, that movie's amazing. I fucking love that movie.
Also, another Robert Redford movie, Randy. Mm-hmm. You might just love Robert Redford.
He's decent.
But for me, when I watched this, nothing ever blew my socks off. It was very workmanlike, very, maybe not journeyman, that might be a little mean, but this guy knows how to use a camera, knows how to tell a story with it. He's not going to try and be Scorsese and do a long tracking shot through an entire apartment building to dive you in.
He does what's needed and does no more.
Yeah. But, which is nothing wrong. It's just,
I mean, it helped not take away things from the performances.
Yes, I think he's very giving to his actors. He lets the actors do the job. Which, all the actors do the fucking job.
Well, I mean, there was some creative things with the, like, TV screens and whatnot in the studio.
Yeah.
But, like, that's not out of this world, you know? That's pretty done by now.
Yeah, and I feel Network probably has cemented TV screens and film.
Oh yeah, cemented hard.
But you know, I'm sorry, I'm stumbling over my words like I'm my Dustin Hoffman character, but the movie is just.
Do you think he does that too much in his movies?
What, Dustin Hoffman kind of stumbling over his words, and it's always like trying to come up with a thing.
Yes.
Like this thing.
Yeah, I'm
trying to, it's a tip of my tongue. Tuesday, and just leaves.
Yeah.
I don't think so. It's one of those things where it's very naturalistic, and I feel that's what Dustin Hoffman's trying to go for. I feel he was kind of typecasted after The Graduate as somebody who was a little.
Is that how he is in The Graduate?
A little bit more played down. He's a lot quieter in The Graduate. Here he's a lot more talky.
Yeah.
But we've seen him before in All the President's Men, and he's
basically the same.
Basically, I mean, there's nuance difference, but
but I mean, he's playing a very similar character almost in like the movements he makes and the way he talks when he's like worked up.
Mm-hmm. He definitely has a style.
I think, you know, that's actually probably one of the great things about Tootsie is that he has to play somebody who's much calmer and more reserved, while also still being the worked up Dustin Hoffman that we see in all these movies.
Yeah, that's probably a really good benefit of the movie. It also shows range.
He's playing a character.
Yeah.
And you can tell he's doing both of those things well at the same time.
It's a fantastic performance. It really is a thing where it kind of sucks that Ben Kingsley won for Gandhi and Dustin Hoffman didn't win for this.
I don't know, I've never seen Gandhi.
I know, yeah, I understand. But, like...
It's pretty fucking good.
It's really fucking good. The only other thing that's really... Okay, I'm just gonna say it right now. The movie is good, but nothing stands out to me as fantastic. Is that just me?
Including his performance?
It's really good. It's strong, but it doesn't resonate like Meryl Streep and Sophie's Choice.
There we go. I was waiting for it.
You were.
I was thinking about bringing it up, and then maybe you were gonna bring it up, but
yeah,
this versus Sophie,
because it's a whole movie centered around a stellar singular performance.
Yes,
and yeah, Meryl Streep is better, but Dustin Hoffman definitely shows more range. Like, I think he's doing more on the court. It's just Meryl Streep is shooting nothing but 3-pointers.
Yeah. If we're gonna make a basketball analogy, I can agree with that. He's working it. He's sweating bullets. He's going all over the place.
He's carrying the ball back all across the court. He's carrying the fucking team, but Meryl's shooting all the buckets.
Yeah, hitting all the buckets.
And it's a thing where this is a fantastic display of his technique, his performance, him as a thespian, and also with Jessica Lange, who I think is fantastic in this movie.
Really good, kind of a subtle acting to it, because you're so focused on Dustin Hoffman that you kind of forget how well she's doing in the movie.
Yeah, and it's a thing where she's so real, and a lot of her stuff feels kind of raw, and she's playing a more like stronger, more reserved kind of person, but you see that intimacy in all of her dialogue. She's fantastic in this film.
She plays the opening up to like a girlfriend, to Tootsie, to Dustin Hoffman's character, really, really well. Being able to like open up and like pour it out, but also like being defensive even. Plays it amazingly well.
I think really the biggest compliment I can give is there's 0 bad performances, and every performance that is central to the film is superb. It's not on the level of something like 12 Angry Men, which is literally just an example of greatest ensemble casting, where there is no bad performance and every performance builds the film. It's a film that I want to put in the top 10 just because of how strong it is, how funny it is, how well it works, but
you feel it's undeserving?
I feel that. I want to cut to the chase of this movie in terms of legacy, its impact, and the thing that the AFI wants to quantify these films.
Well, in legacy, I mean, this movie has inspired countless actors and actresses. Countless.
Yes, and it could also be pointed, it did in fact directly influence his films later on after this. I mean, one example is Mrs. Doubtfire. I think we mentioned that.
Oh, yes.
Where it's literally just that taking care of the baby montage. Mrs. Doubtfire is that played out as a full movie.
Yes.
And I feel that there's probably a few more films of that vein. Guy dresses up as a girl to do X thing, and it's kind of a rom-com comedy thing. And yeah, the movie has impact, it has legacy. It's just I don't know.
Also, the movie has I think more legacy in the fact that talking about men playing more feminine characters in film.
That theme of the film is probably the most juicy part about it, because we see Michael go from this kind of self-absorbed, uber-masculine kind of guy as an actor.
I mean, in the first scene, at like his birthday party, maybe it's not the first scene, but at his birthday party, he's like hitting on like every lady there.
Yeah, and he's kind of pushy, and he's, he's playing the field. And then as soon as he becomes Dorothy, he sees how other men treat him, as seeing him as a lady, and he's like, my God, I'm an asshole.
Yeah, basically.
Dustin Hoffman cried after the first day of filming?
Really?
Yeah, after the first day of filming as Dorothy, he went home and cried to his wife, and he's like, I've treated women like this? I'm an asshole.
Well, was everybody on set told to treat him like a lady?
No, it was just like when they were doing the scenes, because because the actors have to treat him like they don't know, and he's just a woman, right?
Yeah.
And some of the male actors, did the stuff, and he was like, man, I'm an asshole. That was the whole crux of the movie.
Great.
Yeah, and I mean,
also I like that. I want to point out real quick, because like it comes with the themes of the movie. You did say just a woman right there.
What do you mean?
Just a woman?
Yeah, just a woman, just a lady,
just a broad, as you probably say,
a dame, tips fedora. But but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. I just thought it would be kind of funny to point it out.
Yeah, I got a thing. But watching the movie, there is definitely tangible themes of that.
Oh,
how
it's thick.
The male gaze, which is something that a lot of film theorists, film scholars analyze films through, is how men objectify women and how everything is like sexualized and how everything in film is seen through a male fantasy gaze, what have you. And this kind of analyzes it and like reverses it once we see it through Michael, and it's played for comedy, but you definitely get a sense of how uncomfortable and how wrong a lot of these interactions are. I mean, what is it? Michael almost gets basically raped in the apartment if Bill Murray didn't show up.
Bill Murray showed up, yeah.
And the co-host is like, well, I mean, I was just playing the field, darling. Like, what do you want from me?
Oh, goodness.
And it's like, that's fucked up! That's how that
up.
shit worked in the 50s? What the fuck? But thoughts on this movie's view of women and sexuality and all that stuff, or femininity.
Well, I mean, a lot of people, take the lens that life can be viewed through sex, right? Without sex, we wouldn't have life, all that good stuff. And this movie kind of like takes that lens, and just kind of like really zooms it in on everything is about your sex, your male or female, and how you act. Are you masculine or feminine? And Dustin Hoffman's able to kind of weave his way in and out of it by playing a masculine woman being played by a feminine man?
Well, Michael definitely becomes more effeminate as the film progresses.
Yeah, exactly.
And he points out that he definitely feels more in tune with Dorothy, and it starts to kind of mess with him. It's kind of like what they say about method actors. When they get too into a role, they can't turn it off sometimes. Where he starts looking at jewelry when he's just out with Bill Murray, and he's like, oh, wouldn't that look good on me? I mean, it might be too gaudy, though. And he starts acting like Dorothy, even when he's, not Dorothy. And it really kind of... He transforms to being somebody more in touch with his feminine side. And Dorothy is basically just... Well... just Dustin Hoffman just in a dress, because...
Yeah, but the thing is that she's a lot more motherly,
Yeah, she's a lot kinder. She's far more kind. She's far more attentive.
She's stern but reserved.
Stern but reserved. She knows what she wants. She won't take, guff from anybody, and she'll stick up for herself. But she's not rude about it. She's a lot more even-handed about it. She's a lot more level-headed. Where we see Michael, Dustin Hoffman's character, and he blows up all the time. He has no reservations. He's basically trying to play the most masculine you can, where you're just an upfront dick to people when they disagree with you. You're just going to try and push your...
when he gets his first argument with his agent, right? And he's just kind of like raking his agent, like being like, how are you gonna not give me these roles? How are you not gonna give me any jobs? And the agent's like, because you're hard to work with. He's like, I'm hard to work with?
You're telling me I'm hard to work with. I'll tell you who's hard to work with. You!
He's flipping everything around on him and, playing the guilt-tripping his agent and everything.
Yeah, and it's just a stellar performance. It really is a stellar performance. It's just...
we're gonna roll back to, but there's not much else here.
There's not much else here. I mean, don't be wrong, I applaud the film. It's a movie that I think ages incredibly well. I think it's really funny. I would recommend this to people. I don't think I don't think
anybody could watch this movie.
Yeah, there's nothing in here you're gonna get angry about. Again, another PG movie. This movie's PG?
This movie's... Actually, hold up. This movie's not fucking PG.
This movie's PG.
What the hell? There's titties in this movie.
There ain't titties in this movie. Gina Davis never takes her top off. See, this is PG, 1982.
The hell? But we get dressing room scenes here. Dressing room scenes.
Never takes the top off.
Oh, well, yeah, but I'm not sure if I want my kids watching this. Oh my God.
Clutches pearls.
Clutches pearls. Exact. Clutch. You know what? Do you think the Clutches Pearls audience would not like this movie? You're like, maybe in the 80s.
Maybe in the 80s. Honestly, this feels so tame now. This might have been, transgressive or, pushed boundaries in 1982. But, bro, we live in California in the year of our Lord 2022. This ain't even batting an eye over here.
Yeah, true.
Bruh,
so true.
Come on.
The Overton window has shifted so much since then.
Yeah, that's another thing. Because I don't think this movie was controversial when it came out. I mean, it made so much money. A bunch of people loved this movie. But,
even what minor controversies it had then, non-existent.
Washed away to history. But this movie, I think do you think this movie could come out now? Or
I don't really see why not. Well, it might get some backlash by having Dustin Hoffman play such a good female character.
Yeah. I mean...
This movie reminded me of this... I don't remember where this quote's from, but it's from some author. And he said, to write a good female character, you take a man and you remove all the responsibility from him.
Oh, that's yikes, dog. That's a big yikes.
But I'm saying, Dustin Hoffman's character is kind of saying so men can just play women but better.
Oh yeah, that's actually nah. This movie is kind of a yikes on that line, because I feel like you can look at this as it's like a transgenderist film. It's not. He at no point is he confused about his gender or his sexuality. At no point is Michael actually confused about this. He gets,
quote unquote, in touch with his feminine side at the end, but he still wants to rail Julie at the end of this movie. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Yeah. So, seeing this film in a lens of it's a transgender film or a LGBTQ plus film, that don't float with me. All right.
It doesn't hold water.
It doesn't hold water. But seeing this as a film that people who look at maybe somebody oh god, what's her name, the woman or Caitlyn Jenner, who are wow, was only a woman for 6 months and became Woman of the Year, that crowd would turn this movie into a meme if it came out this year.
So true.
This would be a movie, if it came out now, it would turn into one of those things that would make rounds on the Daily Wire and CNN, and it would be a controversial film. So, some political pundit would make this their rallying cry for the news cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And my god, I hate the world we live in now. Because this movie's good. I like this movie.
It's really good. But, I mean, that is kind of
looking at this film as a modern viewer.
Honestly, I don't really care about all that shit. But I do have to say, it's a little much in this movie that Dustin Hoffman is just kind of nailing being a woman in like 30 seconds into it, you know?
And the thing is
and
like
nobody questions it.
And the other thing is, throughout the movie, this isn't like, oh, we're taking this as like some dudes watching a movie and we're doing our own interpretations. The people within the film point out that, Dorothy, you become the most popular female character on our network. You have women rally behind you. They love you. You are inspiring to these women. Like, the executives in the film are telling him this.
Her, this.
No, it's Michael in the dress.
I know, it's
He's definitely
Hoffman.
still a him. He's definitely a dude.
And Julie's like, I wish I could be more like you, you know, and all this.
This movie might get canceled now.
Well,
if it got made it got made this year.
I mean, I'm saying that it's probably valid criticism back in the 80s. Like, you really gotta say Dustin Hoffman, because, alright, we don't get, like, no training montage, or he just shows up, and they have a smash cut, and he's in a dress.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, that is literally how abrupt it is. I think he yells at his agent over not getting a role, and he's like, I'll show you I can get work, and smash cuts to him walking through New York in drag.
Yeah, and
That's it.
And he's just the best women in soap history in like
Walks
an hour.
in, destroys the audition like a fucking champ. It gets a season run, gets picked up for the next season.
It's a year contract.
A year contract. I know people who would suck Harvey Weinstein's dick for a year contract on a soap. There are people who actually did that. Dustin Hoffman just had to show up in a dress.
And everybody's like looking up to him and being like, wow, I wish I could be more like you. You're such a strong woman. And
I really hope people don't get mad at this, because it's literally the fucking movie.
It is the like, you know, maybe we can have like a little big asterisk on this movie being like, yeah, it's amazing and everything, but it is like that is kind of like, you gotta suspend your disbelief that Dustin Hoffman just suddenly becomes, you know, the greatest woman since
Suddenly becomes Meryl Streep.
Yeah, suddenly
of
becomes
the daytime
Meryl
soaps.
Yeah. Like what, like, I get that he's like really good actor, but come on now. And they make a joke about it too, about like the whole like Shakespearean era where like men played all the roles.
Yeah. and it's one of those things where, yeah, you know what? I could give that conceit to this movie if it weren't for the fact that Dustin Hoffman cannot hide his 5 o'clock shadow. There is no point in this movie where I was 100% convinced. If I went to the bathroom and came in and this movie was in the middle, right? There's not a point where I would have been convinced that is not Dustin Hoffman in a
You'd
dress.
like lean over to me and be like, who's that character? And I'd be like, it's Dustin Hoffman in a dress. You'd be like, I knew it.
Yeah, not a point in the entire film. And they tried real hard. The whole point of the big glasses in the movie, if you notice that Tootsie wears these big glasses, the entire point was to try and soften up Dustin Hoffman's chiseled features and also make it so his nose looked smaller.
Bro, his nose is huge.
Yes, it's one of the most distinguishing features of his face. But that was a thing. Like, they did the glasses to try and, like, so perspective-wise, it made his nose look smaller, it softened his features, they had him shave, like, 4 times a day to clean him up. He was under heavy makeup, and he still had to, like, clean up every 3 hours to clean off that 5 o'clock shadow. How much makeup was he under where he still could grow a beard
comment on
through?
it in the movie.
Yes! It's just one of those things that astounds me watching it, where, like, really, I get Sandy not recognizing him, but, like, everyone else, I don't know.
But that's the thing, Dean, you know? You really feel like somebody's just gonna walk into your women's only audition and try and pull wool over your eyes?
I mean, no, not really, but no one noticed.
That's the one thing you can't suspend your disbelief on.
A little bit. Like, don't get me wrong, like, I'll suspend my disbelief for about any fucking thing, right? It's just one of those things, like, halfway through the movie, and I'm like, nobody?
Well, you're only saying that because you know?
I guess.
If you were watching the movie and the only time and it was like through the lens of like Julie, from her perspective, right? And the only time you knew was like the big reveal.
Maybe. Alright, again, I might be ragging on the movie for unjust reasons, you know?
Well, we're just trying to find something to rag on it about. Because we can't really say all that much about, like, how great it is. Because, I mean, it's good and all,
But, yeah. Like, this is a movie where I'm like, this is the template for every 80s rom-com and, like, to come after it.
It even ends in a freeze frame.
It ends in a freeze frame. I thought that was a joke. I didn't think movies actually ended like this.
Oh, yeah, of course they do. I'm surprised they didn't jump.
Oh, would that be great if they jumped and then it's just like the Charlie's Angels music comes in? But yeah, you got anything else to say, or do you want to just run into the AFI?
We'll just run into the AFI. I mean, this movie's good. You know, it's got some things holding it back that are kind of almost superficial.
And it's one of those movies that's just a little difficult to talk about because it is a comedy, and it's hard to talk about comedies without just saying every joke in the movie.
Yeah, telling you every freaking joke that happens. I mean, the movie's really funny.
Yeah, oh yeah. Like, this is not it's a funny movie for its time. It's just a funny movie.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah.
You know. But this movie, it's at number 69. Got him. On the list.
Nice.
And do you think it goes up, down, over, out?
No, it has to stay at 69. It's a commentary about...
Shut the fuck up, Randy, alright?
I'm completely serious on that point.
Are you serious?
100%. It has to stay at 69.
It has to stay at 69?
Yeah, it has to stay at the sex number.
At the sex number? Alright. But, you know, for the real, okay? Up, down, over, out, stays on, stays
going
off.
Down a couple, but not much.
You think it stays in our top 10 in the next milestone?
That's going to be a big ask because we're going to get to 40 movies watched by our next milestone.
Yeah, and we are definitely in the camp that the list is going to change probably a lot.
Yeah, probably dramatically. I mean, it's going to be in the top quarter at that point. Because we'll have 40 movies watched, so 10 movies will be a quarter of the movies we've watched.
Yeah.
But the top quarter, the top 25% of movies we've watched so far, that's a big ask.
I can see this being like top 15, top 20?
Yeah, easily. It's definitely going to be in the upper half.
Is it
I hope.
Is it in the masterpiece range? Is this a masterpiece film? Like, great technical achievement, just not enough to chew on. Like a Night at the Opera.
It's got a good... Well, okay, I'd put it around Night at the Opera, but I'm saying that it's not that it lacks enough to chew on, alright? It's got good themes here. It's got very deep themes. I mean, the difference between men and women is like one of the deepest things rooted in our society.
Yes, we debate this to this day.
I mean, it's older than religion.
Is it? Actually, yeah.
Well, Dean, you have to have men and women in order to make babies. And you have to have then a society in order to have religion. Like, come on now.
Damn it, he's onto something. All right.
The only thing that came before that is probably like food. Like
no.
Sustaining yourself.
It was light.
Exactly.
It was sunlight. That was before this. Okay. I mean, I think this movie is probably, in the realm of Night at the Opera. It wouldn't surprise me if this was in maybe the 30s. Maybe in, like, the mid-20s. Mid-20s, I can definitely see this ending.
Wait, are you saying, like, top 100 is going to end up in the mid-20s?
No, like, out of our 40s.
Oh, out of our 40s.
Yeah, no, out of the top 100.
69?
Okay. If we get to the top 100 and I haven't made a concrete decision, it could be at 69 just for you.
Okay.
But yeah, like,
I'm saying it's gonna be in the teens, maybe the late teens, but it's gonna be in the top half.
Okay.
Of the 40 movies we've watched so far.
All right.
Or we will have watched
eventually.
Yes.
All right. But stays
I
on
hate
the
that
list.
present, past tense, future bullshit.
Wait till we get to a time travel movie.
Yeah,
we'll try and do the whole podcast where we do that. Where every other word or every other sentence gives new time context.
We could watch what's that movie where they move backwards in time? God. It has the guy that just played Batman, what's his name?
Robert Pattinson?
It has Robert Pattinson in it.
And they move Tenet?
Tenet. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about Tenet, but we'll always refer to things in the present as it was in the past and is in the current. And it'll be great. It'll be just like a Christopher Nolan movie.
Yeah, I've seen some stuff about that movie. It looks fucking cool.
Apparently the sound design in that movie shit, though.
Yeah, I've heard that, but I kind of feel like it shouldn't take away from the...
Just watch the fucking movie. It's gonna be cool.
Well, I mean, like, the idea of the movie. Like, I saw some clips from it, and I was like, that's fucking rad. That's a huge tangent, though.
One day, when we get to 50 and we, fuck it, we need to cull the list. we'll figure out some movies that should come on here. Maybe a Nolan movie or two.
Yeah, we'll work on it.
But yeah, stays on the list.
Yeah, definitely stays on the list. Like I can't see it coming off. Like, and are we gonna really? Is there even another rom-com on this list above this?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Was that you have to get out? You have to get out the list to check. Like, come on, bro.
I mean, like, I kind of, bruh. Like, I'm sorry, I got to. Like, I'm pretty sure there's more rom-coms on this list. I'd be surprised if there wasn't. I mean, would you count like Some Like It Hot as a rom-com?
Oh yeah, that's a rom-com.
That's on this list. That's way above this.
Oh okay, all right.
Come on, Randy. You know, you got to get to Some Like It Hot.
Some Like It Hot was. I mean, spoiler alert. Already seen the movie. Amazing, great movie.
Marilyn Monroe in that movie. So this is why people fell in love with her.
God damn. She looks better than Dustin Hoffman and Tootsie.
Oh Lord. Oh, Lord. But yeah, so sorry everybody, this was a meme-tastic entry. But yeah, that was Tootsie.
Yeah, it was good. Got a lot of things going for it. Just, not wowing us, not blowing our socks off. Just good, solid work by everybody involved.
Yeah, just it's missing the it factor. The intangible it factor that two dudes sitting in a room on the internet in a den talk about. It doesn't have that it factor.
It doesn't have the it factor that Sunrise has, which has the most it factor. That Sunrise is being carried, but is specifically by its it factor.
Yes, but there's another movie we're going to be watching next week that maybe it will have the it factor, as it is made by Clint Eastwood.
Oh shit.
Hollywood legend, still making movies today in its fucking 90s.
He probably shouldn't.
Probably.
I haven't heard anything good come out of that man in like 10 years.
Don't worry, it'll be fuck it. Just let the old guy do it.
All things considered, only 10 years. Like that means that he made a good movie in his 80s.
Yes, but what movie we're going to be watching next week? 1992's Unforgiven.
Wait, that shit was made in 92?
92.
Okay.
Also has Morgan Freeman in it. Deconstructionist Western, looking back on the West. We have a lot of deconstructionist Westerns on here. But this is also the one starring fucking Josie Wales.
When are we going to get our Western? Like the Western that was made in like the heart of fucking Westerns?
Where Rainey wants a 1955 fucking John Ford Western, alright?
Yeah, like where is that? Like, were all the deconstructionist Westerns just that much better?
No, just all the good Westerns are way at the fucking top.
No, probably because all of the really good Westerns were made in Italy and had nothing to do with American production companies.
Like I like Stagecoach and The Searchers, but granted, saying you like The Searchers in 2022 might get you canceled.
I've heard that movie's amazing.
Oh no, it's a masterpiece. It is literally one of the greatest films ever made. American form, whatever. It's an actual.
It's on the BFI too.
BFI is a literal, undeniable fucking masterpiece, but it's problematic as fuck.
Like, really, really bad?
Really problematic as fuck, dude. Oh my god. But
as problematic as the movie that was replaced by Intolerance on this list.
No, not even fucking close.
Not
even close.
You're like, it's problematic, but it ain't that fucking problematic.
We'll get to it. But next week, everyone, we're talking about Unforgiven.
I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. I'm excited. I watched all the Dollars trilogy not too long ago. I like me a Clint Eastwood Western. I'm
always looking forward to these Westerns because I just want to get my socks blown the fuck off by a Western and be like, I'm in it now. Like, I'm into these movies. Like, this is my jam. Like, I want to be in there.
Because the Western is quintessential American genre filmmaking. And the only one that drew you in was Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
But, like, that was more just between the two of them, like the characters, like it was more about them and less about the Western because it stopped being a Western like halfway through the movie.
It became an action comedy.
Yeah.
You're waiting for the iconography of the Western to pull you in.
Yeah.
Don't worry. I think you're going to get there. Eventually.
Whoa.
Maybe next week. But if you want to catch that, you can join us next week. Anywhere you can find podcast. We are the Film Odyssey on Spotify, Google Podcasts, so on and so forth. You can also find us at our YouTube channel, The Film Vault. That is The Film Vault on YouTube. You can find this podcast and a bunch of other podcasts on there. And come over there and tell us how awful we are. But Randy, any last words?
I said good day, sir.
You have a good week, everybody.